In the beginning, there was silence, a quiet dread that settled over the world, a premonition whispered on the wind. Then the sky broke, not like a storm, but like glass, shattering to reveal an impossible light beyond. From this tier in reality, something descended, a being of immense scale, with wings of blinding fire that cast the sun itself into shadow. It was an angel, a messenger from the heavens, and as it hung motionless in the upper atmosphere, the world below seemed to shrink, small and fragile, awaiting a verdict it could not comprehend. The air grew still, the oceans held their breath. Fear was absolute, for this was not an invasion, this was judgment. The angel was not a creature of wrath or fury. It was an instrument, a vessel for a will far older and more absolute than any mortal concept of justice. It had come to restore a balance the heavens had decreed was broken. This was the law, etched in cosmic runes that glowed faintly in the churning clouds around the celestial being. A law without appeal, without mercy, without emotion. The judgment was not to be delivered with a voice or a proclamation. It was already decided. The angel's presence was merely the execution of a sentence passed down from the highest court, a cold, indifferent force sent to correct an equation. The world had been found wanting, and the price was to be paid. There would be no negotiation. There would be no surrender. There was only the inevitable. But the earth was not a passive thing. It was ancient, and it was alive. As the divine presence pressed down from above, a deep thrumming began, a vibration that resonated from the planet's very core. It was not a sound, but a feeling, a shudder that ran through the bedrock of continents. Across the globe, the ground fissured. Great, yawning chasms opened, not with the violence of an earthquake, but with the slow, deliberate certainty of something waking from a slumber of millennia. From these depths, a light began to rise. Not the pure, cold light of the heavens, but a molten, golden glow, the lifeblood of the world itself, pulsing with primordial energy. The earth was not defending itself. It was not cowering in fear. It was creating. It was answering. From the largest of these rifts, a figure began to emerge. A titan, born of the planet's own substance. Its form was colossal, a moving mountain of ancient stone, granite, and obsidian. Gnarled, tree-like roots formed its sinews, and glowing veins of molten rock pulsed beneath its surface. A heart of liquid fire. It moved with an impossible, agonizing slowness, each motion an epoch, each step shaking the very foundations of the world. It was old beyond time, a physical manifestation of the planet's endurance and will. The Titan did not roar. It did not bellow a challenge. It simply rose, a silent, implacable sentinel of stone and fire, and stood, a counterpoint to the celestial judgment hanging in the sky. And so they faced each other, heaven and earth embodied. The angel, a beacon of sterile, perfect light, suspended in the silent void above. The Titan, a monument of raw, chaotic creation, rooted in the broken ground below. The difference in scale was staggering, a god against a world. One represented an unyielding, abstract order. The other, a stubborn, tangible existence. No attack was made. No energy was unleashed. There was only a tension that warped the fabric of reality itself. A moment stretched into an eternity, the silent question hanging between them. The fate of everything rested on this singular, impossible standoff. The world watched, breathless, trapped between two absolutes. Then, the heavens struck. The angel, with a gesture that was both elegant and terrible, unleashed its power. Spears of pure light, sharper than any blade, rained down from the sky. They were not mere lightning. They were divine energy, lances of celestial judgment, meant to unmake creation itself. Chains forged from holy fire, wrapped around the Titan's massive form, their links glowing with the power to bind stars. The impact was cataclysmic. Mountains, ancient and proud, were turned to dust. Oceans boiled and receded from the coastlines as the planet reeled. The Titan was struck, gouged, and burned. Deep wounds appeared on its stone hide, and the molten light within it bled into the ravaged earth. But it did not fall. It withstood the storm. Each celestial blow, however, carried a price that the heavens had not accounted for. The divine energy meant to correct the world was instead poisoning it. Where spears of light struck, forests that had stood for ages erupted into white-hot flame, burning not with normal fire, but with a holy light that consumed everything it touched, leaving behind only sterile, gray ash. The sky, once blue, grew dark and choked with the fallout of this cosmic battle. The very balance the angel was sent to restore was now being shattered by its own hand. The cost of this judgment was becoming terrifyingly clear. To save the world by the law of heaven, it seemed the world itself must first be destroyed. This was not correction. This was annihilation. But the Earth learns. The Titan, an extension of the planet's will, began to change. It did not simply heal. It adapted. The divine energy that scarred its body was absorbed, integrated into its very being. The stone of its form hardened, becoming denser, more resilient, now laced with shimmering celestial veins. The molten core within it burned hotter, its glow intensifying, no longer just the lifeblood of the earth, but a furnace fueled by celestial fire. It was turning the weapon of its enemy into its own strength. For the first time, a flicker of something new crossed the angel's perfect, impassive form. A hesitation, a microsecond of uncertainty. The law it served had no protocol for this. The condemned was not supposed to grow stronger from the execution. This hesitation was all it took. The balance of power, once so absolute, had shifted. Up above, the perfect, ordered heavens began to show signs of strain. The tier in the sky from which the angel had emerged began to widen, spider-webbing across the celestial dome. Cracks of raw, chaotic energy appeared, and the pure light of heaven began to collide with the violent, untamed storms of a wounded reality. The divine order was failing. The very concept of heavenly law was fracturing under the strain of a resistance it had never predicted. This was not meant to happen. The world was supposed to bow. It was supposed to break. It was not supposed to fight back, and in doing so, break the very heavens that judged it. The final confrontation was not a clash of victory or defeat. It was a conclusion. The angel, its form now flickering, its light dimmed and corrupted by the chaotic energy it had absorbed from the Titan, began to retreat. It had failed, not because it was weaker, but because its purpose was absolute, and the world had proven to be a variable it could not solve. It pulled back into the fractured sky, a wounded instrument of a broken law. Below, the Titan remained. It did not pursue. It did not celebrate. It simply stood, a scarred and altered monument of defiance, its molten heart beating in rhythm with a world that had refused to die. The law of heaven was broken. The sentence was void. Silence returned. But it was not the quiet dread of the beginning. It was the heavy, profound silence of aftermath. Ash, both from burned forests and shattered divinity, fell like a gentle snow, blanketing a wounded landscape. The sky was a bruised tapestry of twilight and strange, new starlight filtering through the celestial cracks. The world had survived. It was scarred, forever changed, a place of haunting beauty and terrifying new potential. The Titan, now a permanent feature of the horizon, slowly began to recede back into the earth, its energy reabsorbed, its purpose fulfilled. It left behind a world that had looked upon the face of its judge and refused to blink, a world that now understood a fundamental truth. This battle was never meant to be fair, and now the world remembers.